welcome to year 2 of the Funding Love podcast. I'm Mallory Elrod.
And I'm Caitlin Duckworth. We are 2 adoptive moms that seek to love, support, and elevate all corners of the adoption triad, including adopted families, adoptees, and birth parents.
We do that through honest conversation with both expert and everyday voices about all things adoption and more, all while running our nonprofit, Funding Love.
We create post-adoption experiences that strengthen bonds, build community, and restore people.
We are Funding Love,
the podcast. Hey guys, it's Kate here. We are on episode 82, and on today's show, it's just Mal and I. In our conversation, we tackle unpopular opinions related to adoption. Plus, we share a few of our unpopular opinions related to Walt Disney World. We had so much fun with this one. It actually feels like a conversation Mal and I would have on any given day. And just to give a little disclaimer, the opinions we share on this episode are just that, our opinions. So I hope y'all enjoyed this one as much as we did. Hey guys, welcome to episode 82. On this one, you just have us. You're stuck with Mal and Kate for this episode.
That's right. But I think it's going to be a really fun episode. Unpopular opinions about adoption and Disney. I think that's something that everybody gets excited about. Everybody wants to hear people's unpopular opinions, whether or not they agree, and then like kind of argue with their phone or computer screen or TV about whether they agree.
Yeah, the list we have worked up today, we certainly do not agree on all of those things, a lot of these things. So it's going to be a great conversation.
I agree. Let's do it. Let's start with adoption. Let's start with the adoption side of things. So if you've never played like an unpopular opinions game before, you basically give an opinion that you have that you feel like others don't necessarily have, or the majority of others don't necessarily have. So why don't you do your first one for adoption? So
this one is, our guest Allison Olsen talks about this. She talked about this a little bit on her episode, Lucky Child. So I mean, I know you get this, but I've gotten this before. Like, oh my gosh, Libby is so lucky that she found you guys and you found her, or however people word it, that she is a part. She's so lucky. And like, I guess if you're not an adopted, or if you could see my face right now, it's like that. It's just an uncomfortable thing, and it's not really true. You know?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, like Allison was saying when she was explaining it in her episode, she's like, if people could just really, I mean, they just got to feel it, because really we're the lucky ones as the parents to have Libby in our lives and to be so blessed that she, you know, is our daughter. But I do love the way that she twists it and says goes from lucky child, she's trying to change the narrative, to love child. But tell me what your thought is on that unpopular opinion.
I would agree with that unpopular opinion. I don't like that term either. Mm-mm. I feel like it kind of makes the adoptee out to be this like poor, helpless, unfortunate soul that you've scooped in and saved, which like makes us the savior, which also isn't true. So I think there's a lot of stigmas kind of buried in that lucky child. And they're really not lucky, because I think that person, if you turned it around on them and be like, oh, you should have been so lucky. I know. I wish we were all so lucky as to not have been raised by a biological family. That would be so lucky. Like, I think that if you were to turn it around, they would second guess themselves and say, oh, wait a minute. No, that doesn't sound right. So I think it's like an effort to make an adoptive family feel good. It's like an effort to make the adoptive family feel like you see that they've done something good, but people really don't understand the like meaning and underlying kind of layer there to what they're saying.
I think it just really is ignorance, because they'll look at your family in the situation and be like, oh my gosh, she's so lucky. And it just literally is a thing that comes out. And so it's never meant with malice when I've received it, but it's still, I think it's just ignorance of not really understanding all sides of the story.
Yeah. And can we talk about how much pressure that puts on an adoptive family as well? Like, oh, okay, so now I'm supposed to be the perfect family because they're lucky to be here. So heaven forbid that we have any marital issues or financial issues, or, I mean, the array of things that just happen in life. Like it can add guilt or shame to an adoptive family because, that child is supposed to be so lucky to be with us. It just, overall, it's not a good statement.
Yeah.
You shouldn't probably say it. And I agree. It's just an unpopular opinion. Don't say it.
Don't say it. Yeah, but I do like what you said about from the adoptee's perspective, like especially, you know, Libby's still small, but as she gets older and as a lot of adult adoptees have heard this, but I feel like even those kids who were adopted, let's say from foster care or from a hard place, and then they've now grown up with their adoptive family, for them to hear that term, they're like, oh, lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, if you like, I don't know, that would, I guess, just shift your perspective before you say something like that, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways.
Absolutely.
Let's go. What's the next one?
Okay. So mine would be, I find it extremely cringeworthy, and I don't like when people are self-matching online. I don't like when a couple comes to, and I've gotten them to both of our pages, our Funding Love page and my personal page, because, you know, I'm open about our adoption, and they'll like follow, and then they'll immediately message and be like, hey, we're an adoptive couple and we are, you know, we're fully, what word am I looking for?
Home study approved.
Home study approved. See, there goes my brain again. We're fully home study approved, and we're looking to be matched. If you know of any birth moms, and sometimes they will say birth moms, or if you know of any women that are pregnant, or anybody with an unexpected pregnancy, unplanned pregnancy, can you send them our way? The cringeworthy messages that I have gotten, or even just accounts that like follow me and like a bunch of things, and you go and look at their account, and every post is like, this is our cute little family. We are waiting to be matched. If you know of an expectant mother that wants to match, like, please share our account with them. I don't like it, Caitlin. It bothers me so badly.
No, I can agree with you 1,000% on that one, to be honest with you. I mean, as you were just describing that, I'm like, oh, it's just like, ugh, it's like icky. It's like,
yeah,
it feels icky. But I guess I do understand. I don't want to say I understand where, I don't know. I kind of do. People who maybe are in the process for the first time and don't really understand how it's supposed to work, or they know that it's expensive to adopt, and so they're trying to take it into their own hands and haven't fully been educated, once again, on all of the perspectives in the adoption triad. Like they are not aware of how they're coming across or what. I mean, and let's talk about that. Like for you, why does it bother you?
I think it bothers me because it just seems like a couple that's desperate for a baby that isn't considering the feelings of the expectant parents or the adoptee. Mm-hmm. Like, just give me your kid.
It's like they're trying to find something transactional.
Yeah, it does feel transactional, and like you're just filling a hole in their lives. Mm-hmm. We're looking for a kid. Can you just give us your kid? Or do you know of somebody that would be willing to give us their kid? Like, I think that it is that it feels very transactional, just like you said.
Yeah, but, and you know, a part of that too is for these families who are seeking their match in this way, what I wish I could also tell them is like, there's no middleman for you guys once this happens. Yes, I guess once you match, you both have to go to an attorney or however you choose to do that to make it like legal. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But the support that this expectant mom or this expectant family has is going to be very little to none if you match this way. Because like, so, I mean, I guess you can take our example, our story, for example, is that earlier this year when we were in the adoption process and everything kind of just did not go as planned. If I were to look hindsight, that expectant mom did not have any support. As much as I was trying to support her and guide her to support, she didn't have anybody but me, except for me, telling her that she needed somebody in her corner. Right. So when you match online and you self-match in that way where you're just trying to get the baby, I don't know. I don't even want to say it's going to work out for you very well either.
Right. Well, and then even if the adoption does go through and you bring the baby home, there is no unless you're navigating this yourself, like you said, where there's an agreement of like, hey, we do want to keep you in their lives. Hey, we will try to reach out this way or that way. I think one thing that was done well for us in regards to the open adoption is that the agency did have like this expected like schedule of openness that we signed and agreed to, which seems silly now looking in hindsight because we definitely go above and beyond that. But I think for a couple that had no idea, we were brand new to this adoption stuff, brand new to open adoption, I think just having like an agreement and a timeline was helpful because it was like, okay, well, we're going to send the picture every month to the agency. We're going to allow her to have 3 visits a year until he's 3, and then 1 visit a year until he's 18. Like those were kind of like these agreed upon things. At least there was some sort of structure there to remind us that, hey, we agreed to an open adoption, so we should do these things. I feel like when you're self-matching like that, your brain's probably not in a place where it's like the adoptive parents are going to have the baby and then you have an infant and life gets crazy when you have an infant. So you're not necessarily going to be thinking about that. And then you have the birth mom sitting there waiting, you know, and hello, I'm here too. Kind of like what Brittany said on her podcast, like, hello. And so I feel like you're not going to think even in the forethought to like make that agreement. Like, okay, let's sit down, you and I, and let's decide what would feel good for you? Do you want an update once a month for that first year? Should we reach out quarterly? Should we send emails, or should we do snail mail and send pictures? So I feel like if you are self-matching online like that, you probably don't have someone guiding you with these agreements. And so you're not going to make them. And so you're probably less likely to do them and to keep your promises of open adoption. So it just seems like a really poor path to set you up for success and to set your adoptee up for success. As well.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like you said, there's nobody guiding that adoptive family. On the other side, there's nobody telling that mom that she can have an open adoption or how to go about doing that and pushing for that. So it's...
Or that she still does have rights up until the day she signs that paper. Like, she still could change her mind. She still, like, was there coercion involved? Was this an appropriate thing for that adoptive family to say to you or offer to you? If there's no guidance there, you have no idea where things are going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. It just seems, I mean, adoption is far more complex than just getting a baby.
Yes.
Like, it is so much more complex. So it does feel like if you're just those social media posts or seeking through that way, I don't know. I don't know. It's not that easy. I guess I should just say it just really isn't that simple.
It's not that simple.
But just to speak to, like, if anybody listening has taken that route, or is considering maybe taking that route, I don't want to say that you're like a bad person for doing that, or that you shouldn't do that.
Yes.
I certainly just want to say, like, maybe step back and think for a minute why you're doing that and what is your motive? Where is your heart in going that route? Because you do want to consider all sides before you decide to do anything, and especially that expectant mom. Talking ethically, you just want to make sure that she has what she needs on her side, and so that you're, like you said, so that your adoptee is set up for success too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this next one here, Mal, is okay. I'm gonna let you say it because this is you.
Okay, we don't as a family really celebrate gotcha days, and I don't think that those have to be celebrated as much as, like, I feel like the adoption community says.
Yeah. Unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Coming from the mouth of Mallory. Yeah.
I know. I feel like I'm going to, like, have people not like me after this episode.
No, not at all. So we celebrate it. We call it her Forever Day. And I don't want celebrate's a strong word because we don't really do anything but recognize it. So we recognize it, and we, like, have it as a day we talk about for her of, like, what this day means. And we get her, like, a donut every morning. A
donut. That's right. You do.
So we do, like, a cute little pink donut because that's, and she's in the season of love and pink. So we get her a donut, and just, it's your Forever Day. That's the day that you became a Duckworth. And then, talk about just the whole kind of, it's just a reminder to talk about her adoption story with her, really. So dare I say celebrate really isn't the word for us. It's just kind of a recognize the day.
So here's my question for you.
Yeah.
Do you consider her gotcha day or her Forever Day, is it the day you brought her home from the hospital, or is it the day that the finalization became legal and her last name was Duckworth?
The finalization.
The finalization day. Yeah. And I feel like people celebrate those all different too.
Yeah. I mean, so she was brought home from the hospital 2 days after she was born. So, like, that would have been, it's like her birthday still.
Yeah.
For her Forever Day. So that's why we call it Forever Day, or Forever a Duckworth, I guess. is maybe why we called it that. I don't really remember why we chose that word, but
maybe that's why it is more murky for us, because he was born in January. We brought him home in March, and then he wasn't like officially, like legally in Elrod until July.
Right.
So it's like, well, which day do you celebrate?
Right.
Like, because his were very separated. So
Libby's was too, but it was the year of COVID, if we all recall that. She was born in January, but hers wasn't like until 6.5 months later in July because of, COVID and courts and whatnot. But so I can understand what you mean of not really feeling like you need to celebrate it. I don't think there's a good or bad way for that, to be honest with you. Yeah. I do think, once again, just like in everything, it can become a complicated thing to like celebrate, because you're celebrating like losing her first family. I don't want to say losing them, but like maybe that's more of like an official separation, I guess, like a legal separation of that. So that can be a little bit uncomfortable too. But once again, you just got to go at it with like a good heart and a good perspective of recognizing and caring about all sides.
Yeah. And then once your child gets old enough, like talk to them about it. Like you said, it's a great opportunity to talk about it. And like, hey, how do you feel about this day? How does this day make you feel?
Right.
And it's okay if like your whole family is so grateful that you are in our family and we're celebrating it, and there's a little piece inside of you that feels a little sad. Like, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like letting them have that space to feel all the emotions, I think, is a good thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. All right, this last one. We have one more to talk about unpopular opinions related to adoption. So, okay, here it is. You should be required to get counseling or wait a time period before adopting if you've been through a grueling infertility journey.
What do you think about that?
So what we're saying here is that the unpopular opinion is that we believe there should be a time period.
A little gap.
After, yes, a little gap after maybe struggling something a little traumatic or a little bit heartbreaking in the infertility journey. I agree. I agree with that. And I do feel like that I'm going to agree with that unpopular opinion. And I guess my quick response and thought on that is, when you have maybe suffered miscarriages or are just getting so much bad news about growing your family, all you want is a baby. So like all your eyes are set on is a baby, and that can really, really skew your view of the journey you're about to enter on if you're going to jump into the adoption journey next, because you have to take your focus off just the baby.
Yeah.
And you have to like broaden it, just like we always say and what we've been saying already, of like all sides of this, because I understand the desire to want a baby. I do. I get it. I really do. I understand like the you just feel it and you long for it. And I think that's why that time period or even counseling or just like stepping away from it for a second in your everyday thoughts will prove probably healthy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a professional here, but I just do feel like that's like a wise thing, just from our opinion. But
yeah, I agree. Even if it's just 6 months, like I think that there is an element of some personalities of like, well, no, I just got to get there. Okay, well, this isn't working. So my way of coping with this is just going to move on to the next thing that's going to work. And I think that you have to acknowledge the loss and sadness in your own, and you need to mourn that. Like women need to mourn if they've come to a place of understanding or realizing like it's just not going to happen for me biologically. They need to take the space to mourn that, because that is a healthy response. I feel like the unhealthy response is like, okay, well, whatever, move on. Let's go. Next thing. This is what's going to get me to motherhood. Because like you said, I think that response is just going to lead to maybe a lack of understanding surrounding the whole process you're about to go into, because adoption is not the easier route. It's definitely not. I guess would, if you keep pursuing and keep pushing, you have a 100% chance of being matched and being placed with a baby, right? Adoption, you're going to keep going. But that doesn't, adoption is not certain either. You get in there, it's hard, it's grueling. They ask you personal questions. You could have failed matches. There's just so much more to that.
Yeah.
That I think you just have to take the time and space to heal from the last journey before you start this next one.
Yeah. And I can empathize with that feeling of like, you just want something to hold on to. Like you want like some hope to hold on to of like knowing you're at least on a journey to find what you're like your family is longing for. So like I can empathize with that. But then also at the same time as like a Christian, God's not going to let you miss your baby. You know, you're not going to miss out on your baby. So if you feel like your heart is leaning towards the next step is adoption, take a step back and honestly, like give yourself that grace too, to like you were saying, process it. And you're not going to miss your baby if that is the route you're meant to take.
Correct. Yeah. And yes, I think you're just going to go into it with a better mindset, with a more accurate and healthy lens. Like your view of an expectant parent is going to be completely different. Because I know in past shows we've talked about in that how to pray for adoption. Like I think those prayers that come that are, I just hope that this baby is mine. I hope she doesn't pray. Lord, don't let her change her mind. Just, you know, those are the prayers that come from a place of hurt. Those are the prayers that come from a place of like pain and not having that right lens to see the process that you're going through in a correct way. You know what I mean? And so I think taking that time helps to kind of avoid that frustration and pain that can come from that.
And whatever that time frame is, you know, we're not saying anything. Whether we're not 6 months, a year, whatever it is, until you're feeling like your heart is feeling I don't know, happy again. I don't know.
And we need to normalize counseling and talking to professionals. Normalize it. Counseling doesn't mean that you're crazy. It just means that you are processing in a really healthy way.
I mean, it means you're human.
So when we say you should get counseling, we're not calling you crazy because you had infertility journey. We do not mean that at all. Let's normalize it.
I was offended, Mallory. No, I'm kidding. So those are some adoption unpopular opinions. I'm curious, after our listeners hear this, you know, please interact with us on Instagram too, because I would love to hear how you feel. Good things only.
I'm going to get a lot of unfollows. They're going to be like, great unpopular opinions, but I disagree.
Just curious your thoughts. Like, and if you disagree, that is totally okay. That's the whole idea of this. But I'm just curious to think if our unpopular opinions are really unpopular. Maybe they are popular.
Hey, who knows?
Hey, so, you know, we love Disney. That's us. That's who we are. So let's talk about some Walt Disney World unpopular opinions.
Yes.
You want to hear mine off the get-go?
Go for it, girl.
Mine off the bat. Figment is not that cool. I'm just going to say that purple, you know, dragon, dinosaur. He's
in Epcot, yes.
In Epcot. That he's everywhere. You can't literally go to the bathroom in Epcot without seeing Figment somewhere. And I just, my husband loves Figment. It's like nostalgic for him. And now my daughter's growing up to love Figment. So like I'm surrounded by it, but I just still don't get it. I don't get it. What about you? Are you a Figment gal?
I am, and I think I am in between.
Okay.
I feel nothing. I don't feel positive. I don't feel negative. I think he's cute. I think the ride is fine. It was really fun. We went through a phase of the Figment ride when my kids were a bit younger because, you know, it's any height and it's a dark ride and it's fun and it's funny. It's cute. We rarely go now that they're older. Nobody wants to go get in line for Figment. Although it's usually only 5 minutes, guys. It's 5 minutes. You just walk right onto that thing.
Easy one. You want to do something,
It never has a long line. But
Which should tell you something. That should tell you something.
It should tell you something. Also, I don't like the new Figment meet and greet. I don't think I think he's a bit scary.
Well, I've experienced a meet and greet. Have you? You've done it?
No.
Okay.
I've just seen it online.
Okay. I've experienced it recently. And this just plays into like the Disney opinion that Figment is like, you know, just amazing. I don't know. He's everywhere. But I was in line with my family and there were grown adults, and now no harm, no foul, because people love Figment. So this is real to them. They love it. Their heart's in it. Because Figment, for those who don't know, is a new meet and greet at Disney. Like he's been around since 1982. He was greeting and then he went away, but now he's back greeting. So it's like a big deal, okay, for those people who are Disney fans and Figment fans. Well, there were some grown adults weeping in line, like weeping tears of I don't know, joy, overwhelm of getting the chance to meet Figment for the first time. They were like, hey, listen, I love that you love Figment. Nothing wrong with that. But that I was like, am I missing something? Like, because I'm not grasping.
Was one of those grown adults your husband? Was he weeping?
He was very excited. No, not weeping, but I think he may have skipped. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness.
Man. So that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would agree with your unpopular opinion, but I do think it's unpopular. I think there were some gasps on the other side of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, unfollow. All right, what's one of your Disney ones?
I think this one has become less and less unpopular, but don't waste your money on churros and turkey legs in Disney.
Yeah.
I just...
Not good.
The more and more I go to Disney, can I tell you what the best Disney snack is? And I know you'll agree. Mm-hmm. It's the popcorn. It is so consistent and tastes delicious and easy to walk around with. Those churros are hard as rocks most of the time. And the turkey legs are just straight disgusting. They make me want to vomit. Even watching someone eat one, I have to look another way.
So it's like carnivorous. Is that the word? Is that how you say it? It's like, I know.
I cannot. It's disgusting.
I mean, that's
a
very
sweaty
popular.
Grown man eating a sweaty, oversized turkey leg. It's disgusting.
When it's 98 degrees out. Like,
it's so gross. And then you'll see families where they bought one because why would you buy more than one? Because they are the size of an actual dinosaur leg. And they're just all like picking at it. You know what I mean? Like the mom's in the middle holding it and everybody's like grabbing at the meat on the turkey. Like, you've seen this. Don't lie. You've seen it, right?
No, I know. I'm just covering my eyes because I'm trying not to visualize this picture you're painting.
It's disgusting.
It's
disgusting.
Yeah. Okay.
Shield your eyes as you walk past Liberty, Square from the turkey leg massacres.
Shield your eyes. Oh, not good. Mm-hmm. I've never even had one, to be honest with you. They look so unappetizing that I've never even had the desire to get them. Churros, I'd say I've had a couple bites of churros, never impressed.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like you said, popcorn and Mickey ice cream bars. I mean, that's just like the way.
Mickey ice cream sandwich.
That's the way to go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This
oh gosh. Opinion, your next one. Let's hear it.
My next one. Okay, this one's going to get a lot of gasps for our Disney fans. Enchantment, the fireworks show, was not that bad.
Me and
a lot of people.
At least 100 other listeners.
No, to be honest with you, as I understand, like, the hype and the love around Happily Ever After, and I'm so glad it's back. I love Happily Ever After, and I loved Happily Ever After before. But Enchantment, it wasn't that bad. Like, every time I watched it, I was like, oh, that was cute. I like that. Like, I always would say that out loud to my husband. I'd look over, and I would say, oh, that was kind of cute. I liked that.
Oh, my goodness. You liked it because it had a really good Elsa part.
Maybe, and the Moana part was good. And
the Moana part was good.
And my daughter, that was her first fireworks show she saw because of COVID and whatever. So she loved it. And so I enjoyed watching it with her and seeing it through her eyes. But still, I was like, oh, wow, that's really impressive. And I did like the tune at the end and whatever. So I am glad Happily Ever After is back. So I'm not mourning Enchantment.
Okay.
But it wasn't that bad. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's awful. I mean, I don't know. I still watched it.
The projections were great. The fireworks were great. I like that the fireworks became more sparkly. They brought those into Happily Ever After. Like, they're just so, like, sparkly. I don't know what they did. Yeah. But there was no story there. For me, it fell so flat. We've had this conversation, I think, before.
I'm sure, yeah.
So this is an unpopular opinion that we disagree on. I think it was that bad.
So, like,
they put in all of the elements that they felt like should have been there.
Exactly, yeah.
But it didn't actually make sense, and it wasn't cohesive.
No, there really wasn't a story. I can agree with that. And really the songs that were in there were just songs of popular movies of the time, so maybe that's why it's fun to listen to. And, the songs weren't bad, and I did enjoy it. But
except for that
one it's just like, once more, all Disney IP being thrown. There really isn't much more creativity to it, so I can understand why people were hating on it. But at the same time, it was still entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. It was entertaining. Yeah.
I told this to another friend of mine, and she's like, I mean, all it was, she's like, it's fireworks. Like, you can't really screw them up. She's like, but it really wasn't that good. And I was like, okay, well, we part company. No. Anywho, so yeah, that's a real unpopular one that I don't really bring up in a crowd. And not many people agree with me. All right.
Oh, that's funny. So my next one is something silly. I think that Toy Story Mania is the best ride on property of Walt Disney World.
No, you don't.
I just love it. I really do. Now, granted, I didn't say that it's on a different level than like Guardians, okay? Everybody loves to ride Guardians. That is an exciting ride. It is probably the most
like an attraction or
exciting attraction, sure, that you can ride. Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah, go. My unpopular opinion is I think that they knocked it so far out of the park with Toy Story Mania. The re-rideability is amazing. The fact that, yeah, just every time it's exciting. I've never been in line and not been excited to ride Toy Story Mania, ever.
Wow. That's great.
I think, yeah, you could ride Guardians. You could, and here's the thing, you could ride Guardians 3 times in a row. It would be fun, but it's exactly the same. Might be a little queasy after the 3rd time. Toy Story Mania, I could ride it over and over. Every experience would be different, and I would be getting a workout in my right arm.
Oh, yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
I would have biceps and forearms that were just popping.
Oh, okay.
So for those that don't know, Toy Story Mania is in Hollywood Studios. It is a Toy Story themed ride that is basically a video game. Like you kind of shrink down to become a toy and you play a video game. And a lot of people don't realize there's so much strategy to that ride that people are like, oh, you're too competitive. I'm not that competitive. I just have a goal to beat 300,000 as my score. And you have to have a really good partner. Like you have to ride with someone that is also very good. So people are like, I don't want to ride with you because you're super competitive. I'm like, I'm not competitive. I'm not. I might be bossy. I might be a little bit bossy. Yeah, like break that plate, get that plate, go for your asteroid, get the asteroid, get the next. Yeah, I might be yelling out directions, but I really am a good team player because I'm just trying to get us both our highest score possible, and you have to work with the person sitting next to you to do that.
300,000. I think I've been in the 200s. I've never been in 300, I don't think.
No, I've come so close. One time I rode with Matthew Stanford, and I think I got like 295. I was so
he would be
close.
A great partner.
He was a great partner because what he did was he was like, I don't really care about winning. He's the least competitive person ever. Super helpful. And he was like, I'll open up all the big targets and let you get them. So like we'll work together to open up all the big things and then let you get all the big scores to try to get there. I was so close.
That's pretty close. I'm impressed. Well, no, I didn't know that about you as far as Toy Story Mania. It's nice.
What's your favorite ride on property? What do you deem the best ride on property?
Oh. See, the one that it's the same every time, but I just feel like it's going to be a classic. It is for anybody in the family. It's like, to me, everybody in the family can ride it at any age and still be entertained. Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway.
What?
I love it. And Libby loves it. And I wouldn't say it's my favorite on property, but if you're thinking like...
Yeah, if you're thinking about rideability.
The test of time, like...
No, it does not. It's only been there like 2-3 years.
But what I mean is like my grandma could ride it and Libby could all ride it together and everybody enjoys it.
Well, they probably could have done that on the Great Movie Ride too, Caitlin.
They could have, yeah. They could have, yeah. But I guess my mind's just on Hollywood Studios right now because you said Toy Story Mania. That's a hard one. My favorite ride does change. I mean, the Safari's my favorite. The Safari's my favorite
Safari is great.
That's my favorite thing to do on property in the Lion King show. So
you know what? You might be right. Things. You might have debunked my unpopular opinion because the Safari truly is magnificent. But not every time.
Mostly. Yeah.
It's not magnificent every time, but it is different every time. Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I love when you get that good magical ride where animals are coming right up to the side of the truck. But
how cool is it? Like that whole thing is just so cool.
It's so cool. It is so cool. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I say we skip to this last one down here because this one for me Do you feel this? We're looking at our sheet right here of our unpopular opinions. Do you feel it? I think Disney has gotten out of control and we are starting holidays way too soon.
Yeah. It's a little
way
obnoxious.
too soon.
Yeah.
It's
no,
so
it is really obnoxious. When you're like middle of August and it's like 105 degrees out and they have pumpkins, you're like, Yeah.
I don't want a pumpkin spice latte on August 17th.
No. And I understand why they do it, because people don't, like us, go as often. And so if you're taking your family and you're going August 28th, they want people to go to do the Not So Scary Halloween party.
So they have to make a buck.
Correct. So I can see why they do it early, so that they can start those holiday after hour parties and make some money on it. So they have to be decorated, but it's so early. Now,
it is so
Christmas,
early.
I don't know. I love Christmas. So it doesn't bother me that Christmas starts in November.
Oh, that doesn't bother me too much either. I think that November 1st, November 2nd is a completely appropriate time to begin Christmas, because Christmas has so many decorations and so much to it that I feel like if you did start in December, it would be way too late.
And it is more of a season to celebrate.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess fall harvest is too. I don't know.
Yeah. So honestly, I guess we're only complaining about Halloween. It should not start in August, Disney. It should not start in August.
Mm-mm. I mean, I don't
Give
know.
me back my summers. I need to enjoy the end of my summer.
Yeah. I mean, I love the pumpkin stuff. It's always so cute and well done. But yeah. I mean, you also wrote one here. I'm just going to say it. You said that Disney holiday desserts and treats are overrated.
Yeah.
You think so?
Name one that was just amazing. Name one that you look forward to every year, because that's just so great.
Well, some of them change. And they have some eggnog stuff that I enjoy. Eggnog stuff.
Where?
I'm not good at remembering.
I like eggnog lattes from Starbucks.
Oh,
those are
eggnog.
delicious.
So
me too.
There is one that is a oh my gosh, what's the dessert? Cannoli. It's like a holiday cannoli. It's in Hollywood Studios. It is, and I don't like cannolis. Like, I don't, but I think the filling is either eggnog or the filling is something that is so delicious. Some of them are not good. Like, we had a whoopie pie and I was like, that's not good.
I mean, they slap like a white chocolate, like, you know, Christmas tree, like, cut out on top of a food dyed red cupcake and call it Christmas. And it's not that good.
But go to like
charging $8 for a cupcake.
Yeah, those cupcakes are cupcakes of cupcake. Not bad, but whatever. Now, but if you go to Germany and go to the caramel shop, they always have good holiday stuff there.
Oh, do they?
Gingerbread flavored stuff. It's so good.
Okay, maybe I'm looking in all the wrong places, but whenever they start posting like the things from Sleepy Hollow, where, like, do you remember, I think it was last year, they came out with the Pop-Tart that literally looked like Lorelei drizzled icing all over it and like put like a candy eyeball on it. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is not cute. It's overpriced. And you know that thing doesn't taste good. You know it doesn't taste good.
I don't know. I don't think we had that one. We did it. I think you guys did the same thing. We went to Disney with some of our friends, and we did a day where we just went around and had holiday treats at all the parks.
Yes.
And I mean, my husband goes crazy. This is like one of his favorite days of the year, is when we can just go and get sugar overload. But he would really just kind of try everything. And I would say it was 50-50. I don't say that everything was amazing, but I would say about half of it was good. But by the time you reach the end of the day, you just don't want a bite of anything.
You just need your Disney salty popcorn. Because at the end of the day, you come back to the salty popcorn and a Mickey ice cream sandwich, and that's actually the best thing on property.
It is. You're right. It is. The holiday stuff is good. Like if you go to what do you call it? Grand Floridian. And they have those special treats in the gingerbread house. So they have like special stuff there.
The last time we got gingerbread there, I was just like, eh.
Oh, no, don't get the gingerbread. But they have like all of those different treats in there. Anyways, holidays at Disney are so much fun. I should say Christmas at Disney is so fun.
Yeah, don't let us talk you out of it because we're saying it's too soon or the treats aren't that good. I'm just saying. I'm just being honest with you. But you should definitely go.
You should definitely go and get yourself a popcorn and Mickey ice cream bar. That's
yes.
Ice cream sandwich, whatever.
Oh my goodness. Well, this was fun.
It sure was. How fun was this? And I hope helpful. I hope it was a helpful conversation in regards to just our opinions on some of those adoption, unpopular.
Yeah. And disclaimer, these are all opinions. So there's no
Correct.
fact here. And it is totally okay if you don't agree with us. We still like you. You might not like us. That's okay too, but we still like you.
True. That
Because
is
around
true.
here, we are funding love. So, hey, why don't you end us by telling one thing that you are loving right now and that's filling you up?
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, you caught me off guard. I definitely wasn't prepared for this one.
Oh.
So, what am I loving right now? I'm loving decorating. So, we got a new condo. So, we're planning on moving into that. So, I've had so much fun decorating that, and nothing is really decorated because we're still kind of in the middle of doing some renovations on it, but like picking all the sofas and rugs and furniture pieces and lighting. Oh, that's been so fun. So, that's been filling me up and taking a lot of my time, but I love doing that. So, that's it. In this season, I feel like that's what I'm consumed by. So thank God I enjoy it. What about you?
Awesome.
What are you loving right now?
What am I loving right now? I think that currently I am going through like a Jane Austen kick with reading. And so this year I have read Pride and Prejudice. I have read Sense and Sensibility. I'm currently reading Mansfield Park. And it wasn't like I didn't choose it at the beginning of the year. It was just like a couple of months ago. I was like, at the end of the night, I was still reading like personal development books. And I was like, I can't sleep because then my brain is going. I'm like reading an adoption book. And it's like, it's such a good book. But then when I turn off the light, my brain just dig. So I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to go back to Jane Austen. I love Jane Austen. I have not read everything that she's written. I've only read like a few over and over. Like I've read Pride and Prejudice and Emma so many times. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to read some Jane Austen. And I just do. Like every night I read one chapter with like a cup of hot tea before bed. And it helps me sleep so much better than reading some thought-provoking book about
or scrolling
personal development or adoption or scrolling on my phone. Yeah, I don't usually do that. I like to read before bed, but I really shifted gears into just like, I'm just going to read some Jane Austen. And I have been loving it. I really do. It's been great. It's great to end the night, you know, with a little love story or Mr. Darcy.
just a nice little story. So no, I love that.
So anyways, that's where I'm at.
Oh, well, I love that. Such a fun episode, and I always have fun talking to you about Disney. So
me too.
That was fun. So that's it. That's a wrap on episode 82. So listeners, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Funding Love podcast. Guess what? We have set the date for our second annual fundraising gala. It is the Garden Gala, and it is going to be held on April 26th, 2024 at the Four Seasons Resort in Orlando. Tickets won't go on sale until November 1st, but right now you can claim one of our 3 sponsorships. We have 2 gold sponsorships available and 1 guest of honor sponsorship. To learn more about those, you can email us at hello@fundinglove.com. Here at Funding Love, we are a crowd-funded nonprofit, which means that people like you can make a lasting impact on the lives of adoptees, birth moms, and adoptive families through your generous donations. If you'd like to give a one-time gift today, head to fundinglove.com/donate, knowing that when you partner with us, you are funding love.